I have never seen such a perfect shelter before. To prepare for the incoming cold air, the man gathers materials on site, skillfully utilizing forest resources, replicating a medieval English thatched log cabin. He uses the trunks of 2,000-year-old trees as the bottom framework, giving the shelter a high elevated structure, thereby effectively isolating it from the damp ground and always maintaining a dry and comfortable living environment. Later, he also manually builds a weaving rack, laying neatly tied bundles of thatch on the roof, which is both waterproof and insulated, enough for the man to safely survive this cold winter. Walker, who has been away for a long time, steps deep into the forest again, unexpectedly finding 2 dead trees fallen to the ground. He first holds an axe, carefully clearing the messy branches from the trunk's surface. Then he continues to work, chopping grooves into the inner side of the trunk. Doing this not only completes the basic processing, but also conveniently checks the inside of the trunk to see if there is any rot, ensuring that the subsequent parts serving as the foundation are strong and durable enough. After finishing this, Walker takes a handsaw from his backpack, walking towards a dead tree hanging in the air nearby. He first saws the trunk into 2 sections, then clears away the excess branches on the surface. Afterward, he gets up again to collect more logs. After chopping the surface flat, they can be sequentially jammed into the grooves on both sides. Thanks to measuring the dimensions in advance, each log can be tightly connected together, secured very firmly. At this point, the bottom platform of the shelter is assembled and formed. Next, Walker takes out an auger, drilling holes into the trunks on both sides respectively. Then he finds a log, first sawing out wooden segments of uniform size, then sharpening one end of the wooden segments, knocking them into the holes one by one to serve as the support structure for the surrounding walls. But just doing this is not enough in order to allow for subsequent building, so the side walls have clear fixing positions. He also has to set up an additional log horizontally. After finishing these, Walker walks towards the depths of the forest with his tools, finally stopping beside a pile of dead trees. Among them, the branches of this trunk are very thick, fully capable of serving as the framework support for the side walls of the shelter. So, Walker decides to collect more logs like this. First carrying them back near the shelter, then picking up the axe again to carry out a more detailed trimming of the surface. The next step is taking 2 treated logs, comparing them multiple times to find the precise intersection points, and using hemp rope to tightly tie and secure them, then tying the other ends of the logs to the support frames on both sides respectively. With the experience of building this wall, the back wall is also made following the exact same method, finally setting up a log horizontally in the middle, making its 2 ends firmly connect with the intersection points. After this series of operations, the framework of the roof also gradually takes shape. Next, Walker sets up logs upward step by step in order. Each log must be wrapped several times with hemp rope, tied securely, without allowing the slightest looseness. When the roofs on both sides are completely built, he brings over another log, starting to block up the back wall of the shelter. Subsequently, he looks for 2 branches with good flexibility, first tying them together and molding them into the required shape, then using hemp rope to repeatedly wrap and reinforce them, preventing the structure from falling apart. After jamming the shaped frame in the middle of the roof, the entrance door of the shelter is installed, and to block up the remaining wall surface, he still has to saw the tree trunk into wooden segments of varying sizes. afterward sequentially arranging them according to the length of the wooden segments, tying them one by one to the door frame and the roof framework, forming a solid wall. As the last log is fixed into place, the overall framework of the shelter is completely perfected. However, to truly shield against the wind and rain, he still has to tightly plug the gaps between the logs. Thus, he takes out a tarp and comes to a nearby puddle. The clay at the edge is moist and fine, which is exactly a good material for filling the gaps. Then he pulls up a few bundles of weeds by the puddle and mixes them with the clay. The weeds can increase the adhesion of the clay, allowing it to stick better to the logs so it won't easily fall off. Finally, smearing the processed clay onto the framework and gently smoothing the surface with his fingers, ensuring every gap is sealed tightly. After completing the wall on the back side, Walker immediately moves to the wall where the entrance door is, continuing to use the mixed clay to fill the gaps. Until the wall feels smooth, solid without a single gap for drafts to leak through. Once both front and back walls are properly handled, he takes a sickle out of his backpack, walking towards a nearby clearing full of thatch. The thatch here grows tall and dense. The blades are dry and resilient, making it a great material for covering the roof. In a short while, he collects several large bundles, carrying them back to the shelter to temporarily stack them aside. Then he finds several logs of uniform thickness, knocking them into the ground one by one. To allow the thatch to be tied together in an orderly manner, without coming loose, Walker already has his own idea. This is an old method his grandmother taught him when he was a child. He uses the leftover hemp rope from before, wrapping it back and forth between the logs to secure it, quickly building a simple weaving rack. Subsequently, he just needs to lay the thatch on it, and by pulling up and down the hemp rope, he can tie every bundle of thatch tightly. Following this method, Walker works continuously without stopping. Without realizing it, he has processed 5 bundles of neat grass mats. His hands haven't stopped moving, but his thoughts drift back to his childhood, remembering the scenes in the yard, organizing thatch with his grandmother. Those warm moments make the tedious labor become incredibly pleasant. After all the grass mats are made, he first takes 4 bundles of them, carrying them to the walls on both sides of the shelter, carefully unrolling the grass mats, letting them hang down naturally along the wall. And then using hemp rope to firmly tie the edges of the grass mat to the wall framework, looping a circle of hemp rope at regular intervals, tying a sturdy knot, ensuring the grass mat clings tightly to the wall. Finally, he picks up the remaining bundle of grass mat, walking inside the shelter, laying it flat on the bottom platform, which perfectly serves as a simple but warm mattress. Now he has a comfortable place to rest in the future. To make the shelter more complete, Walker plans to make a wooden door that can open and close flexibly. Picking up the tools again and walking into the woods, chopping down some branches, he first clears all the excess twigs from the surface, leaving only the straight main stems. After the preparation work is done, he first picks 2 branches from them, tying them tightly together with hemp rope, then comparing them to the size of the door frame, adjusting the position repeatedly to ensure they can exactly block the doorway. After determining the main framework, he then winds the remaining branches one by one, weaving them in. A sturdy wooden door slowly takes shape, feeling solid and allowing light to pass through. Once the wooden door is properly installed, he then takes down the weaving rack previously used to fix the thatch, cleaning up the surroundings, completely bidding farewell to the initial messiness. The sky gradually darkens without him noticing. Walker bends down, digging a shallow pit in the clearing next to the shelter. He plans to light a campfire, not only to stay warm, but also to cook himself a hot dinner. The flat door panel serves perfectly as a temporary table board. Walker first pours the canned food into the frying pan, then peels and cuts the onion into small chunks, also putting them into the pan. Next, sprinkling a pinch of salt for seasoning, subsequently placing the iron pan on the bracket above the pit, letting the flames slowly heat it. Taking advantage of this time, Walker takes out tin foil to carefully wrap each potato, throwing them one by one into the pit. This ensures they are cooked thoroughly, without roasting the skin black. Next, putting the meatballs into the boiling iron pan one by one, waiting until the broth in the pan gradually thickens, and the meatballs are boiled plump and flavorful. At this time, the potatoes are also roasted exceptionally soft and glutinous. The pairing of staple food and side dish is just right. It counts as a hearty dinner. After enjoying the delicious dinner, Walker returns indoors, full of satisfaction. He first spreads the soft blanket over the grass mat inside the room, and then lies down on it. The day's busyness dissipates at this moment, very quickly falling into a peaceful sleep.